Okay, so we see that this is the pyramid that's on the back of the dollar bill. An Egyptian pyramid. We show the connection to Ephraim and Manasseh that they have as Egyptian-born descendants. This is no accident. As I've said, the pyramid is representing a world age. I want you to notice kind of like the physical structure of this pyramid as it appears to become a road. As you can see that it is bringing us together to one point in history, bringing the people together to one point in time, in other words, to this one world order. All right? They're bringing us from the ends of the earth where we've been spread out, and that's what this represents at this point right here. Now, this is going to be the inverse of my equation right here. I want you to notice, I know that for some of you who haven't seen this before, it's going to be hard to focus. Watch a series I did entitled Divide and Conquer 44. This is the beginning point. This is the Genesis point, okay? The Bible says in the Old Testament that the nations would be scattered upon the four winds. And I have broken down what the four winds are. The four winds are the four cardinal points of control or change. Now, that is going to translate directly to knowledge. Because remember, the serpent is the knowledge bearer. He's the light bearer. He's the wisdom bringer. And then, of course, the symbol for the apple now represents knowledge. As we've seen throughout our world, you give the teacher the apple on the desk, blah, blah, blah. The apple represents knowledge. And that's why it's been symbolically used throughout history to represent this point and this temptation in the Garden of Eden event as the serpent offering this apple. Now, the apple, being that it represents knowledge, it has to represent knowledge in its fullest. To represent knowledge in its fullest, we understand what the Old Testament is saying when it says that these nations of the world will be scattered upon the four winds. Well, these are those four winds. I want you to see that we create like a pyramid. So if you see this line here, and you see this line here, that's going to be one pyramid. There are four pyramids that are coming together. But in reality, we're starting at this point right here. So within this directional course of travel, we are being spread outwards. Look how from this point to this point, it gets wider. As you go another level, it gets wider. So this is us being spread out and divided upon these four principles of knowledge, which are going to break down into math, science, religion, and the arts. Now, I've broken those down further into two polarities, which show you how they time up with the two hemispheres of the brain. The left hemisphere of the brain is going to be the material side, math and science. The right hemisphere of the brain is going to be religion and the arts. That's the polarity that we experience. Okay, so now you would divide this in half, just like the planet is, and we have a north pole and we have a south pole. Within these two polarities, on each side, each pole, you have two directional routes of travel that you can go. So the first thing that they want to do is they kind of want to funnel you into two groups. They want to quantify you or create you into a computable unit. And they want you to either be, at this point, material or spiritual. And that's the polarity that he starts. He says, okay, well, I'm going to divide the knowledge to begin this divide and conquer. We're talking about the serpent. So he takes the knowledge, he divides it. God is telling you he doesn't want the knowledge divided. He says, don't go to the serpent and take this divided knowledge, because that's where you're going to entertain evil. So as I've said before, that evil is something that you create yourself. It's not something that is already created. It's something that's manifested from you because of your lack of knowledge. So Lucifer is now trying to create a lack of knowledge. He's dividing one portion of it. He wants the material people not to see the spiritual. He wants the spiritual people not to see the material. And he creates a directional course of travel throughout these dimensional time-space viewpoints to funnel you away from the truth. And that's what it means. We're looking at the people are being scattered by their course of knowledge that they follow to the ends of the earth. And that's what's going to tie us right back on here to where now that they've scattered us to the ends of the earth, they want to bring us back together to this new world order.